Now, let's talk a little bit about security part of it. So security part is something that we are not going to cover in ethical hacking, but we have to understand the concept of security here. And the security is created in this many dimensions. The first dimension is confidentiality, second is integrity, third is availability, authenticity, and non-repudiation. Let me explain each one now one by one. The first one is confidentiality. Okay, now what you actually want is whenever you are analyzing the security of your information, is your information going to be secure? First and foremost, your data should not be shared with somebody else. Okay, so that is where confidentiality comes in. Okay, so you cannot, or rather, the purpose of your you can say information security is that you should not allow anybody else to access their data unless those people are authorized to receive that data. Okay, this is where say login credentials and passwords come into play. Okay, so if you want to access my Gmail account, you use Gmail? Yes or no?
Yes, I use Gmail.
Yes, you use Gmail, right?
Yes, I use Gmail.
So your Gmail asks you for your login credentials and your
Yes,
password. Okay.
yes,
So the only way that I can get your login credentials and password is when you give it to me, right? The only
yeah,
way I
yeah.
can access your Gmail is when I get your
The
login credentials.
details.
That is the confidentiality that you cannot get in unless you have got authorized access to my account, right? So that is
Yeah,
the first part, that is confidentiality. Okay. The second part is integrity. Okay. So integrity is basically you can say that the assurance that your account is safe. I am how is your bank hackable or is your bank trustworthy? That is the integrity of your bank. It is the assurance that you have that no, my bank is safe, my bank is secure. I'm assured that my bank is not going to steal my data, or my bank is not going to allow hackers to hack me. That's kind of the integrity, the second part. The third part is availability. Okay, what if your website goes down for 8 to 10 hours daily? Okay, that's useless. Okay, so your website has to be available. Your data, which is yours, should be available at the press of a button. So that's the availability of the data, which is the next factor. The fourth factor is authenticity. The authenticity is establishing the, you can say, the authentication in such a way that the person can prove that I am the owner. And sometimes there is something called as identity theft. Okay, where I can come and tell that I am this particular person, and I can, you can say I can create a fake ID, and I can become an imposter. I can become somebody else. Okay, so to prevent such a thing from happening, there is something called as non-repudiation. Okay, so non-repudiation is basically a guarantee that I am who I say I am. That means proof that I am who I say I am. So one of the ways is you can say we have to provide our passport details proving that I am so and so person, or I could have some kind of a unique identification code. It could be some kind of citizens code that you probably have in several countries that proves that you are that particular person. It could be in the form of fingerprints, or it could be in the form of a digital signature. So these are the proofs. These are the different methods by which information security can safeguard you. All right. So the elements of security now you got, that is in confidentiality, integrity, availability, authenticity, and non-repudiation. So now the question that really needs to be understood is, why is nothing secure? Why is hacking possible? It's a very big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when I was learning hacking, just like you are learning right now, several years ago, I asked my trainers to answer this question. If you are such powerful ethical hackers, why can't you create a system that is unhackable? Create a system which is unhackable. Why do you want to allow hackers to penetrate? Why can't you just use your common sense? Why can't you use your powers or your, you can say, understanding of the system and make anything unhackable? The answer to that I got in the form of SFU. SFU stands for security, functionality, and usability triangle. Okay, so let's understand this triangle now. As you can see on the screen here, so let's say that you have got a ball in your hand. Okay. So this ball, if I bring the ball, so if I create a website that is very usable, so I'll shift this ball to usability. Okay, easy to use. If I bring the ball here, then functionality is lost and security is lost. If I make my website more functional, I give more and more functions, more and more features, in that case, security suffers and usability suffers. If I focus on security, only security, making it very strong, then I cannot give lots of functionalities and I cannot give lots of usabilities. So that is why there is a SFU triangle, that is, nothing is safe simply because you cannot have all three. You have to compromise somewhere or the other. Okay. So let's say I'm creating, I'm designing, an app, a very powerful app. So if I were to create an app which is unhackable, I cannot give too many features, because the more features I make, the more bugs are introduced. The more features I make, the more doors are opened for hackers to penetrate. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll limit it and I'll create a website which is secure, or an app which is secure. But if the app is secure, that means it is not very user friendly. So that usability suffers and functionality suffers. You got the idea how the
Yeah.
SFU triangle works? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Great. So now the next thing is, how can hackers attack? Oh, there's no limit. Okay, there are lots of ways in which hackers can attack. These are what we call as the attack vectors. Okay, so I'll just show you in the form of this diagram here. So I can attack you by using, say, unpatched software. Okay, there's a software which is not licensed, a software which is pirated, or software which is there but it has not been patched regularly. So this is one channel of attacking you. The second channel of attacking is using targeted malware. Malware, I already told you, is it could be in the form of viruses or trojans or something. So those can be used to attack the target. Using social networking, where you fool people into giving you some attack vectors. Next is insider threats, using something called as insider threats. That means you could find somebody working in that company and you can extract information out of that particular person. That is insider threats. Okay, the next one is botnets. Botnets are, you can say, certain softwares that are automatically generated. These are robots on the network. That is why they are called botnets. So robots in the network. Okay, so I'll remove net. I'll remove. This is how the word botnet came into existence. So botnet is basically artificially created software, and it runs on its own and tries to penetrate the defenses. Okay, next is lack of cybersecurity professionals. This is one of the main reasons. In fact, people are not aware of the ways they can be attacked. People are not aware that they need cybersecurity professionals like you and me, and they just imagine that I will never get hacked, and that is one of the main reasons of getting hacked. Okay. Then we have got network applications. There are lots of network applications which are having their inherent vulnerabilities. You can use them for attacks. Inadequate security policies is yet another reason for getting hacked. Mobiles, sometimes your mobiles are not secure enough. That's how they can be hacked. Government laws and regulations sometimes cause security, and sometimes they, because of the government regulations, there is or rather due to the proper lack of government regulations, you can get into the security. Okay, then we have complexity of the computer infrastructure. Computers and networks are very complex, and since there are so many factors there, there is always a chance that something might be, people might forget some aspect or the other, and because of that there is high chance of getting penetrated. Okay, something called as hacktivism. I'll cover hacktivism in detail in the next few slides. So these are hackers and activists, combination of that. I'll talk about that in detail. We have got something like virtualization and cloud computing. Cloud computing is storing the data online. We do that all the time now. And finally, organized cybercrime. This is a group of hackers that come together and hack. So these are the different methods by which a system can be attacked. Now, what are the threats to the information security? The first kind of threat, that how can I lose the data? One of the ways that I can lose my data is due to natural disasters like floods, earthquakes, and hurricanes or whatever. The second way is, as I mentioned earlier, I could lose my laptop, I could lose my pen drives or something. So, or it could be some sabotage, or somebody could have broken my devices. So that's another physical threat. Or somebody would just walk into my office and steal my data and go away, copy and paste and run away. That's physical method of stealing data. And third is human threats. This is the most dangerous one, where your hacking can be done because of hackers, because of insiders, social engineering, as I covered, and lack of knowledge and awareness. This is the worst of them. Okay, people are not aware what is going on, and this is why world's 80% of the systems are hacked, simply because people don't understand that what are the ways in which they can be hacked. Okay, information security threats can be of several types. We can have network threats, we can have host threats, and we can have application threats. Okay, so network threats can be in the form of gathering the information, sniffing, collecting data in the form of SQL injections, ARP poisoning, password attacks, and all that. So these are attacks coming from the network into the system. Host threats come in the form of malware attacks, target footprinting, getting access or giving denial of services. These are the different forms in which you can attack in host threats. And application threats can be in the form of improper coding. That means data validation was not done properly, or authentication was not done properly, and some kind of code was insecure, and it is easy to penetrate. Or it could be cryptography attacks, it could be buffer overflow attacks, and a lot of other parameters that will be covered in application threats. Okay. Now, today, it is not necessary for people to attack one country and the other. We don't need nuclear bombs. If you really want to destroy a country, you just have to destroy their share market computers, and your work is done. The entire country can come to a standstill, or you can damage their military servers. You can destroy their satellites, and these are the ways nowadays the battles are being fought. This is called as information warfare. It is no longer necessary for people to use bullets and guns and missiles and rocket launchers, and all. You can destroy people just by sitting in on a computer and on a laptop and destroy the entire economy of the country. This is how dangerous situations have become now. Okay. Now we have got several types of security threats there. That is, we have now two types of IP addresses: IP version 4 and IP version 6. Now, what do we mean by an IP address? So, as I said, as we come to it, I'm going to explain that IP address is basically Internet Protocol. Internet Protocol address, and what it does is it has values like 192.168.1.5 or whatever. Okay, so this particular thing is nothing but the number that is assigned to a particular network resource. Okay, so each network resource is given a particular number. So this is the IP address. Now this is the IP address of one of my machines. So this could be, say, PC number 5, and the other one would be, so PC number 7, and so on and so forth. So you could have several IP addresses. They have names. So names are understood by us humans, and IP addresses are understood by routers and switches. Okay, now routers and switches are basically devices which are used, their entire purpose is to connect one computer with another. Okay, so when you connect one computer with the second computer, that is called a network. And when we have, say, several networks interconnected, now we need to route the signal from one place to another. Routing or sending the signal from one place to another is handled by routers. Okay, and connections of one computer to another is done by a hub or a switch. Okay, is this clear, or I hope you have understood what I'm trying to cover here.
Yes, I understand.
Getting it?
Yes.
Okay, great, great, great. Okay, so that was the, as far as the IP address is concerned. Now, I already covered hacking versus ethical hacking in the beginning. So yeah, there are two types of hackers. One is you can say a bad guy, and there is a good guy. We'll cover this in detail in the next few slides. When we talk about the different kinds of hackers, there will be several types of hackers, 8 different types of hackers, not just 2 different types. Okay, now why is ethical hacking such a big business? There is a good reason behind it. Okay, and that reason is that there is loss due to. So what are the losses that can happen because of hacking? So let's study that. Because of hacking, we could have the loss of information. Information can be lost. My client's data can be lost. If my client data is lost, my client will be upset with me, and because of that, I will lose revenue. When revenue is lost, my business is lost. Business is lost, reputation is lost, and now it is said that as of today, there is more than $1.1 trillion of loss because of hacking. Huge, and it's trillions of dollars lost annually worldwide due to hackers. So it is cheaper to hire an ethical hacker so you can prevent this kind of data loss. This is why hacking is in such demand today. Not hacking, ethical hacking is in demand. Okay, there is no demand for hacking. Nobody knows who the hackers are, because if they are known, then they are behind bars. It's really that simple. Okay, so a hacker is a person who illegally breaks into the system without authorization. The purpose of a hacker is to destroy the data, steal the data, or perform malicious attacks. Okay, hackers hack for several reasons. I will be covering the several reasons in a short while. Okay, and there are several types of hackers which I'll be covering, including hacktivism. Okay, now there are phases of hacking. The phases of hacking always starts with the first one, that is the reconnaissance section. Then comes the second one, that is scanning. We have gaining access, maintaining access, and clearing the tracks. Okay, so first let's talk about reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is nothing but gathering information about the attack. So there are two types of information gathering. One is passive information gathering, and second is active information gathering. In passive information gathering, you just go online. We'll cover this in great detail. You just go online and you check the details about a particular person. You are not getting in touch with that person. So that's passive, where you are not directly involved. In active reconnaissance, you will actually have to physically interact with that computer or directly launch an attack, and there is a good chance of getting caught here in the active reconnaissance. Okay, second is scanning. Now, scanning means that is the second phase. Scanning is divided into three sections. One is the pre-attack phase. Second is the scanning of the ports. We'll be covering these, and the third is extracting the information from them. Okay, so we scan the computer or the device that we are planning to attack remotely or sometimes nearby, and we gather the information, and then finally we'll launch the attack. That is called as scanning. The next one, sorry, excuse me, it's gaining. The third one is gaining access. Gaining access. Now that you have done your reconnaissance work, you have done the scanning work, now it is time for you to launch the attack using hacking tools. And you can attack the operating system, you can penetrate the defenses, and you can use the cracking and the hacking techniques to gain access within the system. Now, after gaining the access, what is the next thing? You will go away, because you cannot stay there for a long time. If you stay there for a long time, you will get caught. But then what if you want to come back again? In that case, the next part is maintaining access. So here, you maintain the access when the attacker tries to you can say take the ownership of the program. So what you will do is you will basically create you can say some kind of an entry system, that is what we call as a backdoor entry. So in the future, if you want to attack my computer, today you successfully attacked my computer. So what you will do is you will write a hidden code there, and with that code you can come back again and again. That is called as a backdoor entry into my computer system, in the form of backdoors, in the form of rootkits, or in the form of trojans. Okay. Then we have got you can manipulate the data and you can stay there. Now, so that system is that system is compromised, and that system is always hackable. Okay. And finally, you have, now that you have got the data, if you don't want to be caught, the hacker finally, before leaving, has to clear the tracks. Okay. So what they did, why they did, and how they, they just get rid of the systems logs. As I mentioned earlier, they delete the logs, or they override the logs, so that nobody gets suspicious that something like this, something malicious has happened. Okay. So that's how this is done. All right. So so far good. So good. Are we on the right? Any questions?
No questions. No
Okay,
question. I will
great. We're doing good. All right. So now the next thing is, attackers are exploiting different kinds of vulnerabilities. So there are 4 types of system attacks. The first one is attacking the operating system. What are the operating systems that we have? Yes, please. Can you tell me the types of operating systems that we have?
Type of operating system, like the Windows, iOS.
IO. Okay. That was, yeah. And then we have Android.
Yeah, we have Android.
Okay. And
Mac.
several others. Yeah. Okay. So that way there are lots of, I mean, these are the 3 of the most popular ones in the whole world right now.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So these are the operating systems that we have. And so one method of attack is the operating system attack. The second is due to misconfiguration. This happens when different kinds of security professionals don't configure properly. The third type of attack is attacking software or the applications, and the final one is a shrink wrap code attacks. Okay, so let's talk about the operating system attacks. As I mentioned earlier, the hackers are first trying to gain access.
Yes.
Second is they use operating system vulnerabilities. And third is they launch an attack. Okay, so first is they will try to somehow or the other find the flaws in the system vulnerability, and they will try to gain access. Once they have gained access, they will, you can say, how do they gain access? Because of the vulnerabilities either in the operating system or because the unpatched operating system. And how will they get operating system attacks? So they will be using either protocol implementations or attack into the authentication systems, that is password attacks. File system security can be damaged, and finally encryption or cracking the password mechanism can be used to gain the access. Okay, misconfiguration attack is, you can say, simply because somebody has not configured, or the, you can say, the networking professionals have not done a good job, and because of that the system can be penetrated and the defense is weak. Okay, so this is misconfiguration attack. The application level attack is due to two main reasons. One is there is no error checking. So if there are, you can say, a mechanism that allow people to penetrate, then they can penetrate due to buffer overflow attacks, information disclosure, cross-site scripting, session hijacking, denial of service attacks, and SQL injection attacks. Besides that, if I wanted to attack a system, I could do it using something called phishing. We will cover that into details. Phishing is pulling people into giving away their passwords. Then we have session hijacking,
Sorry,
MITM or man in the middle attack. Yes, please.
what do you say is phishing? Can you explain phishing?
Phishing. Okay. You want me to give you detailed explanation of phishing right now? Okay.
Yes.
Phishing. So phishing is basically creating. I would create a fake website, and using that I could fool you into giving me your password. So let's say I'll create a website that looks just like gmail.com, or a website that looks just like facebook.com. Okay, and I will
Just
I
like
will
a
send you the
clone.
link.
Clone
Yeah,
website. A clone, just like a clone website.
cloning. Yes, yes,
Okay.
cloning a website, exactly identical website. And
Okay.
then I will ask you, in that website I'll send you the link, and here I'll tell you enter your username and enter your password. So as soon as you enter your username and your password, I got, okay, both the information will come to me. So essentially what I did is I created, or I cloned a website. Okay, I'll be showing you how to do that. You can clone your website, and with the cloning mechanism, you can fool people into giving away their username and password. Okay, this
Okay.
is in fact one of the easiest ways, and this is part of your chapter 6, that is social engineering, where we'll be covering this in detail. Okay, so these are some of the important aspects of getting hacked. And now the next one is session hijacking. Session hijacking means, now what does that mean, is let us say that you are right now, you are logged into your Gmail account. Okay, it is no longer possible because Gmail is very secure now. But just assuming that Gmail, you were on your Gmail or your Facebook account.
Okay.
Okay, so you protected. You're working on Facebook right now. You're online. Okay, that is, in other words, I can say that your session is active. Okay, now your session is going on. So obviously you are logged in, and when you are logged in, there is a section called as cookie, which is storing your password. How can you log in? Through your password only. So it has temporarily stored your login credential. It has temporarily stored your password somewhere. Now what we do here in session hijacking is, when your session is live, I will hijack your session. I will get into your session, and I will pretend that I am you, and through that I will be able to get into your system. So one way is hijacking your session. The second way is using something called as denial of service. In denial of service, that is also called as the DOS attack, okay, or denial of service attack. So let us say that I am not able to hack you. I am not able to penetrate you. Defenses are very, very strong. Then what I will do is I will just destroy your data, or I will just temporarily destroy your system or bring down your system. Okay, that is what we call as the DOS, or denial of service attacks, in which you temporarily or sometimes even permanently damage the opposite person's or the other side's website or the computer, so that it is not able to do anything. It is damaged forever. Okay, so this is called the denial of service attack. Okay, so that's as far as your basics are concerned. And now I will take you to the next section. Okay. So now we'll cover into depth about how hacking takes place. Now, this is for beginners who have a little background about what is hacking, and you want to know exactly what are the different mechanisms and how hacking works and what are the different types of hackings. Okay, so that's what we are going to cover in this session. Now, one of the things that we really need to understand is, hackers do not hack in a simple manner. So let's say, for example, if I were to ask you, what is your email address? Can you please share your email address with me?
Okay. Can I
Yeah.
call it?
Can you type it in the chat box there?
Okay. Okay. Let me type it.
Go to the chat box. You can type it out. Yes. Okay. DEWEY 9112. So this is your email address. Okay, you had no problems giving me your email address. Now, okay, will you give me your password? You
Give
shouldn't.
it. No. No.
Okay, you shouldn't. Okay, so see, it's okay for you to give me your email address. If I were to ask you your Facebook password or your Instagram password or your Snapchat password or your net banking password, you would not give me, right? Giving
Yeah.
your phone number is okay. Giving your email address is okay. Giving your name is okay. But giving your confidential details is not okay, right? So we understand this, and yet people get hacked simply because hackers are very, very smart people. Remember, hackers are not idiots. Hackers are geniuses. Okay, so if I were to hack, yeah, if I were to hack you, I would not ask you for your password. What I
Okay.
would do is I would give you something free of cost. Okay, so I would give you a game free. Okay, here, Baba, ML, you'll play this game. Okay, and once you start playing this game, I will get details about you. Okay, so I will give you a free antivirus, or I could give you a free game, or I could give you a free dating app, or anything like that. I'll give you something, anything that you will use, and then I'll get into your system. Okay, so would you now tell me, would you ever give your details to a stranger?
No.
No, are you sure?
No. I won't give.
Okay, so if I wanted, let's say, you don't know me at all,
Okay.
and I would ask you for your phone, and I want all the contact numbers on your phone, okay, and I want all the photos that are on your mobile phone. How does that make you feel? Very uncomfortable? I
No.
want all the videos. I want everything that is there stored on your in your memory card. Okay,
Okay.
and I want you to allow me to delete, open, and copy all this. I want access to your camera. Okay, and I want access to say your location, whatever you've been doing, wherever you have been going, and in short, I want total access to your phone. Okay, would you give it to me if I was a total stranger, if you don't know me?
No, no, I won't give
I
it
don't
to
think
you.
you would give it even if you had a close
No.
friend also, right?
Yes, I won't.
Okay, but now let's take a look at this slide. Okay, so do you download any apps,
Yeah, I
free
do.
apps?
Yes,
Okay, so what apps do you download?
I downloaded.
Instagram,
Yes, the Instagram, Facebook.
Facebook, share it,
Yes, Messenger.
Messenger, yes. So whenever you download anything, been like this.
Yes, yes.
So what does it say? Let us read it. So it is asking you for permission and you are giving access to what? Device, app, and history.
Yes.
That means whatever you have been doing. History means whatever you have been doing with your device, that is your computer, your mobile phone, and your app. You are giving total control to this person. You,
Okay.
who are you? Where are you staying? What are you doing? That is your identity. All the context on your computer, sorry, on your mobile phone, you are giving all the photos, medias, and files you are handing over. Your camera, your front camera, and your back camera, both you are giving your Wi-Fi information, Bluetooth, and device. So, how well do you know the owners of Share?
You see?
Have you met them?
Yes, very well. I made them.
You've never met them, no? How well do you know? How well do you know Facebook? How well do you know Instagram? You do not know them.
No,
Okay,
I
they are total strangers to you, and in spite of that, you have shared all these details.
don't to
Okay,
them.
and what all they have given is an accept button. There is no cancel button because they know you are going to accept it because it is free of cost. Okay, so a hacker would never ask you for details. They would take the details without your knowledge. This is how they do it. Okay. Here's yet another example. If I tell you, can I use your computer and steal all your data? You're going to say no to me. But how will I take the data from your computer? I'll give you a free antivirus. Okay. Download this antivirus absolutely free of cost. You press the download now button and my software is inside your computer. It will scan your computer and will take the data. Okay, remember this works two ways, not one way. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So let me read all the files on your PC. You will say, no, I will not allow you to read the files. But what I'll do is I'll give you a tool called CCleaner. That's a free tool that deletes and erases unnecessary files, which is slowing down your computer and makes your computer work faster. Okay. So don't you use such tools in your mobile phone also?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Okay. And how much does it cost? It's free. What
Free.
do they get out of it? They get all your data.
Okay.
That data which you are not sharing even with your best friend, that data is already with them.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's huge.
See how dangerous it is?